on the Victor 2 for chasing history, and I'm going to talk about the spring barrel and putting in the spring barrel arbor. But sometimes on the springs, you'll take a spring and say this is the width of the spring, and you're looking at it, and you'll see a scratch mark all the way down, all the way around the spring. Well, what happens is the spring's kind of bent this way, so it's rubbing here. And this happens on machines sometimes, and I always tell you to pack with green grease, but on this one it was more pronounced. The spring's good, it works, but we want to make sure that it runs better in the machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to thin out the green grease just a little bit. So what I do is I will take my illustrious Starbucks stopper, and you just come in here and you'll put, you know, a little drop of STP in here.
You've already got green grease in there.
Yeah, I have green grease, you can see right here. A couple of spots, and you just put just a little bit in here. That's about enough. Now what we're going to talk about.
And what does that do?
That's going to mix with the green grease, and it'll make the green grease a little bit more slurrier. We're going to thin it out a little. It's like baking cookies. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. Victor did make spring oil, and it came in bottles you could get for your phonograph back in the day. Now about the spring arbor. Because the gear's down here, this side goes in. But in the video taking it apart, I told you I bent out the spring to pop the arbor out. So what you do is you take a pair of needle nose pliers and you come around here. I take these long ones like this. I think you can get them at Harbor Freight. And I just come in here and I bend all the way around till the arbor just snugly fits in here. You know, there's no wiggle room. So what you do is you just come in here, and then I talk about using wrenches with these holes in them like this so you can grab it. You can just come in here, grab it with a small end, and it hooked up. Bingo. We pop the pear shape in, everything's good. Now, before you put the end plate in, right, we have to put the end plate that goes in here. Well, that piece right here, this rubs right here. You can see the line where it's rubbed, right? Aha. So we're going to put a little STP right in here. The grease is going to work in, but this kind of squishes together. We want the motor to run smoothly. So you'll just put on the end plate a couple of little dabs of STP, the old school stuff, just enough to get in there like that, and then you'll just assemble it, put all this in, and pop it in. And that's all there is to doing the spring barrel. The other thing is, my angel will focus over here, everything on the motor has to look like this. You have to have everything out of all the teeth of the gear, all the crud, all this. On the end bearing, on this casting, you have a recessed area on the outside, and you have this area here where it runs against the end plate. And you want to make sure that this is polished out with no burrs. And you want to make sure when you clean it, that this bearing, a lot of times you'll get them and whoopsie, this bearing won't move like this. This screw right here is the adjustment screw for this bearing. And you want to make sure that this runs smoothly and that you have everything cleaned and polished out. Make sure that the recessed area goes to the outside. And this locks it in place. You do this on all phonographs. You also want to polish out the back end of the governor flywheel so that when the leather comes up, it runs smoothly. We have all the junk out of the gear here and all the junk out of the gear on the spindle shaft. And you see we've polished all that out. This all has to be done on the phonograph before you assemble it. And that's my tip for the day.